Welcome again, and we want to take an example involving quadratic equation on the board. The first example I have on the board is asking us to find the roots of the equation 3x squared minus 7x minus 6 equal to 0. And like I said earlier, I am going to be using factorization method to solve this. I'm going to be using factorization method to solve this. So if you want me to show you the formula method, because that's simple method. Now, one beautiful thing about quadratic equations is that most questions, you have an indices question or even a word problem. From nowhere, quadratic equation will enter. And for you to know the value of s you will use to proceed in the question, you need to solve the quadratic equation. So quadratic equations are very important. You need to know how to solve quadratic equations if you're going to be a good mathematician. So, but the two best methods I love using in solving quadratic equation is either the factorization method or my formula method. So these are the best two you can learn and have, especially if you are going to be writing WAEC very soon. Learn these two methods. So whenever you see quadratic equation, you can easily solve it. The formula method is actually very easy. So if you want me to show you that, let me know. But back to this, we have 3x squared minus 7x minus 6 equal to 0, and we want to solve this using factorization method. Now, the factorization method is basically we're going to be factorizing the quadratic expression like we were doing. Here are the two linear expressions that will multiply and give us those quadratic expression. Then we equate it to 0, and we're basically done. So what do I mean? Like now, what we have here is 3x squared minus 7x minus 6. So if I look for the product now, that's the product of the first term and the last term. That's 3x squared times minus 6 will give me minus 18x squared. Please, if you are following me, I would love you to pause this video and try to factorize this and get your two factors first. If you can do that before you continue, let me know if you did that in the comment section. So my factors are, my product gave me minus 18x squared. Now I will start looking for the two factors. I am looking for two things. Remember, they must have s. I'm looking for two things that when I multiply, I will get minus 18s squared. But when I add them, I should get minus 7s. Now remember, because the product is negative, one should be positive and one should be negative. And the one that will be negative, because the middle term is negative, should be the bigger one. So let's think, what two things are we going to add? And we'll get minus 7s, but when we multiply, we get this. So there are a lot of things that can give us 18. We have 3 and 6, but if there's no way we add 3 and 6, especially if one is having positive and one is having negative, that will give us minus 7. No, now. If 3 is positive, 6 is negative, that's minus 6. If it's the other way around, that will be positive 3s. That's positive 6s. So nothing is going to give us 7. So we'll try something else. 9 and 2. 9 and 2 will give us 18. So if I make, you can see 9 minus 2 is 7. Remember, we say because it's negative, one has to be positive, one has to be negative. So because I want a negative and the middle term is negative, it means the bigger one should be negative. That means what I should have here is minus 9s. Or let me write this first. Let me write the 2s here for the minus 9s. So these are the two things. If you multiply 2 and 9 minus 9, you get minus 18. S times s is s squared. And if you add two of them, you get minus 7s. So these are the two things that will give me that. So back to this. What we are going to be doing next is now we are going to carry those two factors. Go back to this our equation. Just the expression part and replace this middle term with this. So we are trying to factorize first. So this will now imply that 3s squared plus 2s minus 7s minus 6. Okay, I made a mistake. I was meant to write minus 9s, but my eyes is here, and I made that mistake. Sorry, not kidding. It's just a mistake. So this is now going to be the group term. 3s squared plus 2s. Now see, there's a minus 9s there. I'm going to totally ignore that and just put my plus. Then open a bracket, put the minus 9s inside. Now this is another issue students have. They'll bring out that negative and will not bring out this one. So it's better you just write the plus, put all the negatives inside. So when you start factoring, you know you're factoring out negative. I prefer it this way, and make sure there's a sign in between this. So here, what is common between these two brackets is just s. So if I bring out s, 3s will remain here, y2 will remain here. Then look at these two brackets. Now because there is negative in front, I'll bring out the negative. If I bring out that negative, it's better to do it this way, bring out the negative. So when you're bringing out the negative now, you now check what is in 9 that is in 6, that's 3. So this is 3s. Now because I brought out negative, negative times negative is positive. So as I'm bringing out negative, I will remember that once I bring out negative, what will now remain is positive, because negative times positive is negative. So if I'm removing the negative, what will remain is positive. That's why this one is 3s. So in the same way, if I bring out the negative from minus 6, it will become positive. Then what will remain is 2, because I have removed 3. So now in the same sense, we are now having 3s plus. Can we see these two brackets? It's the same. Once it's the same, you factor out one of the brackets. You bring out one of the brackets. Then the ones remaining, you write them in one other bracket. Now remember there is no sign in between, they are multiplying. Now when you get to this point, you now remember that this is equal to 0. This is equal to 0. Now you will now use the idea of, if two things are multiplying and is equal to 0, is either one is 0 or they both are 0. So the one we are going to be saying here now, this now implies that 3s plus 2 is equal to 0. Or s minus 2 is equal to 0. So the two of them are multiplying, they're giving us 0. One of it is 0. So that's what we basically did here. So we'll now work on this. This one is 3s is equal to, when we move to the other side, there is nothing here. Remember 0 is nothing. So if I move to the other side, I'm having minus 2. Divide both sides by 3. I want to get s. So in this one, s is equal to minus 2 over 3. Why this other side? If I move s to the other side, s will now be equal to 2. So the roots of my quadratic equation are s equal to minus 2 or s equal to 2. So this is how we get the roots of a quadratic equation. So I don't know if you got that, you followed. Did you follow? So this is how we solve for roots of a quadratic equation or solutions of a quadratic equation. So see you in my next video, and I hope you. So if you have any question, any problem, any question you would like me to try, you can drop it on the comment section, and I'll see you in our next class.